Black people are making it known that we want something just for us. Slavery was just for us. Jim Crow was just for us. Redlining was just for us. The peonage system was just for us. Segregation was just for us. Discrimination based on race was just for us. So they've done all of these things in America that were just for us. Things that did damage to our families, did damage to our freedom, set us back well, didn't set us back economically, because we never got on an economic footing in the first place because of all of these policies, government policies written into law. So it's not like they could even pretend these things didn't happen and they were just for black people. But when you come back and say, but what about us? What are you going to do to benefit black Americans? What are you going to do to repair black Americans? Nothing. No. We're going to do something to help everybody. So this is a question that needs to be put to her the next time she gets ready to run for any kind of public office. What do you think about reparations? Well, reparations is on the table now, and it should stay on the table until it's addressed by both Democrats and Republicans, because slavery set black people back for as many years as they were enslaved, 246. And Jim Crow slavery set black people back for as many years as those Jim Crow laws were in effect, almost 100 years. Those laws were just for black people. They weren't for immigrants. They weren't for poor whites. They weren't for anybody except black American descendants of slavery. And so black Americans' issues have to be addressed with respect. Because the way she did that was like, no, I'm not going to do anything just for you. I'm going to do something to help all these other people who didn't do anything to build this country and build this economy, including her own people, because she is not of our lineage.
And she did nothing. And this is after she said on an interview that she can't do anything just for black people. Well, if you can't do anything just for black people, Vice President Harris, how was it possible? How was it possible for you guys to do something just for gays, just for Asians, just for Native Americans, just for migrants? Complete contradiction. And so for me, at this point right now, with 3 months to go until the November 5th election, Baba David, I don't have a reason to vote for either of them. For those who are into identity politics, she doesn't meet the criteria of being black by many of their standards. So I'm hearing black people say I'm going to vote for her just because she's black. But according to many American Africans' definition of being black, because many of us reject mixed race, I don't. I'm a Pan-Africanist, I don't. But many of them reject mixed race Africans, but they're qualifying Kamala Harris because they need to believe in her so badly. Here's my last point, Baba David. There's been 14 presidential elections since Dr. King's assassination. 14 presidential election cycles since 1968. Can you please name the one that benefited black people? And if we cannot name the election cycle out of the past 14 presidential elections since Dr. King's assassination, if we can't name the presidential administration that changed something systemically for the American African people, why then are we emotionally rallying our people up to be exploited once again?
Black YouTube has rather conservative values, if you think about it. And Black YouTube is also rather critical of Pan-Africanist Dr. Umar Johnson. We say that we don't care about identity politics, but Dr. Umar almost always goes viral for talking about identity politics. We say that we only care about the issues. But we keep tuning in to hear people discuss Kamala's race and identity. Why is there such a discrepancy between what Black people say and what we do? We say that we vote based on policies, but we look at what political leaders represent to give us hope. Quite often, it is false hope. Perhaps Dr. Umar is just saying out loud what we are all thinking. And if you're going to say it with your chest and be willing to deal with the backlash. So I am interrupting the regularly scheduled programming. Some of you expressed your dissatisfaction with me talking about this topic. However, many of you may not know that I taught African American and African history at the collegiate level for many years. So a lot of these conversations that are happening in Black YouTube are right up my alley. And I would be remiss not to talk about the most obvious modern Black woman, which is Kamala Harris. Shout out to everyone who responded to my post and my question about Chrisette Michele for the community. That has actually been on my mind since it happened. So like, share, and subscribe. Click the links in the description box to get to know what I do as a coach, as a consultant with Curated Legacy LLC. Join the Black and Invisible YouTube membership group and purchase my book about being an invisible Black woman on Amazon. My name is Naka, and I am here to make the invisible visible about modern Black women, and I highlight the things that Black women and sometimes that Black people didn't tell you. And as always, stay tuned for more videos.
I'm wondering if Black Americans will forgive her and give her a chance to address that issue again, because she definitely should have to be asked that very same question the very next time she decides to run for public office. And every time she goes before a Black audience or a Black journalist, that question should be on the table, and they shouldn't let her do any fancy footwork. She's been running around here trying to show that she's down with Black culture, and she's been ski-weeing with the AKAs. She's been doing all of that. None of that matters until she addresses the problems of Black Americans, especially the ones who are the most marginalized. All of us were enslaved.